Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Look, I was scared that my Instagram was gonna start tripping because yesterday it was doing the most, but I'm happy we got you. We got no issues.
I'm in my husband's
um,
office, so I'm trying to figure out what's the best. His
um,
lighting is weird in here. I
I
think.
feel like right here is it seems fine.
Okay, let me get this together really quickly.
Okay.
I made him take the baby and get up out of here. So.
Aw. We want to see him.
Uh, uh, I can always signal them to come back in.
Okay, so first of all, how are you? Because you had a race 3 days ago?
Yes, I had a race on what's today, Monday.
Yes.
So I had a
I have to think about it.
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a race
Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay. All right. two
Yeah,
days ago then. There
that
we
was
go.
2 days ago.
One of those days. So before we hop into that, what I allow all my guests to do is I can literally kind of read a script and just kind of tell everybody who you are, your bio, all of that great stuff. But the point of this platform is to allow you to kind of tell your story your way. So can you just kind of let everybody know who you are, what you do, and then we're gonna dive into some questions.
Yeah, so my name is Christina Clemons. Formerly, I was Christina Manning. I went to the Ohio State University where I was NCAA champion, 2 times NCAA champion, All American, like 6-time All American. And from there, I ended up running professionally for Adidas. And actually ruptured my Achilles back in 2013, which put me out for about 4 years. And
Wow.
so my first year really running pro, like really into it, was 2017, and there I made my first team, and from there I just kind of took off.
Yeah. So this is off script, but with that Achilles injury, so how was the road coming back? Because that's a tough injury.
No,
Definitely, you're a hurdler, so yeah.
yeah, it's a really hard injury to come back from. And on top of that, so back then, like I said, I was in 2013. So let's say back in the day, okay?
Right.
Back then, what they used to do for the surgery is they would lengthen the Achilles versus shortening it.
Oh
And
wow.
with anything powerful, you need that pop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it really took me a while to come back because I kept having injury after injury, whether it was my other Achilles. I never hurt the same Achilles. The right one is fine, but
Mm.
my other Achilles, I kept having injuries with that, my calf, my hamstring, my toe. I mean, name it, and I've had
Oh
it.
man.
Like every
Yeah.
I felt like I was coming back, something would happen,
Yeah.
and I would same position.
You so I ran track pretty much my entire life. I ran track from 6 to
Okay.
23, right? Went to college and ran. So I tell everybody, like, at some point in your career, you're going
Mm-hmm.
to get some injury, and it's going to end up being a nagging injury. And
Absolutely.
I know for me, I tore my hamstrings, and man, woo!
Man.
I feel like once you tear them, every year it's gonna be something
Absolutely.
happening. But the fact that you came back from that and you've been killing it is what we're all most excited about and to kind of hear about. So I'm assuming the race on Saturday was that the Arkansas Razorback
Yeah,
Invitational.
that was Arkansas Razorback.
Okay, so with that race, first of all, how did you do
I,
before I get into
you
that?
know, it was good. I got third. I went 795. I felt like I could have done so much better in that race, but it's like getting back into the race rhythm after being out for 15 months. Like it is something in your mind that has to click for the racing
A hundred
aspect.
percent. 100%. So how did you kind of adapt to like preparing for that after 15 months of kind of being away? And with these type of competitions, how do they kind of differ from preparing for like the Olympics? Of course, I know that's the
Uh,
Olympics, but still, coming back and getting back into the swing of things is still a journey.
yeah, so getting back into something like this, like I guess you would say a smaller race, you want to say, but after 15 months, the way that it feels, it feels
Yeah.
huge. Like that actually wasn't my first race. My first race was not this past weekend, but the weekend before at Texas Tech. I ran 789 there, opened up with 789, my fastest opener.
Wow.
But like like standing on the line, all these things are running through your head. And I knew that I had my husband, my baby, my father-in-law, like my brother-in-law, like
everybody watch it.
You know,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about, my sister moved down to Austin to help me with my baby. Me and my husband, he lives in Dallas, I live in Austin to train. So
Wow.
if it would have just been me trying to take care of my son and run, that wasn't,
been a lot.
gonna happen. So I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about everything.
Yeah.
When I'm on, and that kind of just made me just go in and go off. Yeah. Apparently, like I said, it was my fastest opener.
That's amazing.
It was almost like I didn't miss a beat, But even leading up into it, though, my coach, I switched coaches, and I'm with Coach Tanja Bailey. And what really helps is she came back from having a baby and made the Olympic team.
Oh, wow.
So she doesn't only know it on the physical side, but she knows it on the mental side. She knows everything that I'm going to have to deal with, and other things that I'm thinking about, I'm going through at home, and being a new mom. Yeah. She knows it all, understands, and she makes it so much. I mean, when I say so much easier for me, so much easier.
Wow. No, that's phenomenal. And I'm actually excited to kind of talk to you about just the journey of being this professional, world-renowned athlete who is now a new mom. Mm-hmm. And so with that, being the case now, how has your journey as an athlete changed now that, and I look, I know this is probably this is probably a long-winded answer because of course it changed, but I guess, to make it easier to answer, what has been the biggest challenge?
Man, sleep.
Of course.
Sleep.
Of
you
course.
See my eyes right now. I feel like honestly, the amount of sleep that I've lost since I've had this child is ridiculous.
Wait, so do you have early morning practices?
My practice is usually around 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not at all, but I'm a co-sleeper, and I know it's frowned upon in some places and amongst some people, but not in this household. We co-sleep. Right. Yeah, I breastfeed, so it's a lot easier. But yeah, he's with me through the night. He's feeding through the night. It's gotten a lot better. I'm sorry. He's
you're good.
A year now.
Yeah.
And so him, he sleeps for about he sleeps through the night now, but this is new. It was not, like
it was a journey. I can only imagine.
I'm getting like 3 hours of sleep going to practice. Like, hey, what's up, y'all? Like,
yeah,
I'm doing what I gotta do to get it done, and I feel like because of that, the routine has changed so much. It really has caused me to just adapt as an athlete altogether. Like things I thought were hard before, it's not. Like if I can go out here and hit like 150s, 250s after having no sleep and still perform well at practice, I'm good. Like we're good.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I know this is a controversial topic, but with you being a new mom and being an athlete, I'm sure you get this question a lot, but do you feel that there's enough things and things in place for female professional athletes to be able to successfully balance just your training regimen, being an athlete, traveling, and also being a mom? Or do you feel like there's still a ways to go before you feel like, it's at a place to where y'all are comfortable and again still able to do what you got to do on a high level?
I need you to go back and repeat that. You said, is there enough what that went out?
Do you feel like there's enough, like, I guess just like things in place for mothers, right? Mothers that are, athletes, so that you guys are able to kind of balance being this athlete but also being this mom? Or do you still feel like there's a big gap to where you know, when it comes to like getting extra help,
Yeah.
having maybe daycare when you're at practice or
Right.
whatever it may be?
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Like I truly feel like sports are still, it's still a man's world.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe that there's enough practices in place that really focuses on women and that really cares about women, that are really rooting for us when it comes down to it. It's truly not how I feel. Like I said, the way I do it, my sister had to move down to
Yeah.
help me out. If my sister's not in town, she works remote. If she's not in town because she's on a work trip, I have to take my son to practice.
Mm.
Because for me personally, I'm not I'm not putting my baby in daycare.
Yeah.
For me,
I feel you.
I don't know
Yeah.
you. And I, I can't,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't have, so, yeah, I don't, and I'm glad you brought that up. I really am, because I do feel like it really does need to be talked about.
Yeah.
There's definitely not enough support for
So
mothers. There's,
what do you think needs to change? Because
yeah,
of course, there's, there's a million things that have to happen in order for a mother to feel comfortable getting back into sport, being there full time, while also still trying to balance being, a mother or an athlete. So what do you think needs to change? If you had
yeah,
it your way, if you could walk into the office
yeah.
of whoever's running this whole thing, this whole ship, right? And say these things need to be in place in order for women or mothers to be
Mhm.
able to thrive in sports, what would those things be?
Yeah, I really do think that the one of the biggest thing needs to be, it needs to be some type of maternity clause that's mandatory. I mean, mandatory to
Yeah.
have in contracts.
Yep.
You, my contract did not have anything about a maternity clause. And yeah, it didn't have anything about a maternity clause. I've been with Adidas for 11 years. As I said, 2017, I made my first team. I was ranked fourth in the world. I've been ranked seventh or higher in the world since 2017.
Wow.
I made the hardest team to make in 2021, which was the 100
Yeah.
meter hurdles. In 22, I competed 2.5 months pregnant at the USA Track and Field Championships, and I made it to the semifinals. And
Wow.
then 23, after I had my child, they did not renew my contract. You know, and it's like I'm one of the best hurdlers
That's crazy.
in the world. And that's just kind of how our sport is, which is why a lot of women choose not to have kids
Yeah.
till, you know,
Yeah, they're completely
we're older.
done.
And it's like that's not right. And it's not fair. And it definitely does have to change. And I think that alone would it would change the sport tremendously.
Yeah. Because you don't
Yeah.
have to sacrifice
At
a
all.
part
It's
of who
like you're
you are for the sport or vice versa,
right.
right? And just hear you say that, man, women, we are resilient creatures,
Absolutely.
man. Like, and you're like, hear you say that, that also made me think about the Allison Felix
Absolutely.
story, right?
Yeah.
And for that to happen, and then to hear you say this, why aren't things changing? Why
Right.
aren't the higher ups hearing what all of these women athletes are saying? And, we have the right to be mothers and still
Mhm.
participate in our sport. But of course, it's a different
Right.
challenge, right? Because we have to take care of the baby at the end of the day, right? Definitely when they're very small. So that's something that I feel needs to change
Yeah.
immediately, because again, that does make you feel like, man, so should I keep doing this sport, or should I actually go and start living my life as a mother, as a wife, and all these other things? So this is something I talk about,
Mm-hmm.
that I really want change to take place in, because again, like, that's that's
Yeah.
not fair. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, it's simple
Yeah.
as that. It's not fair.
It's not,
Like,
and it's like they push you out of the sport.
yeah,
Kind of, you know, what I see, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. I'm like, it's not gonna happen to me. Like, you know,
That's
you can take
crazy.
away your sponsorship or whatever the case may be, but I've been in this for a minute. I'm gonna go get it. You know, I'm
Yeah.
gonna find it, but I'm gonna do what I've been doing, you know, to remain the athlete and become better. You know, I
Yes.
had a child, like
Yeah.
naturally, like I did it. I was like, if I could do that, I could do anything. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I mean, that's
so strong.
so so with you, you know, with you, you're like you making it to the Olympics, you know, and having that opportunity under your belt and doing phenomenal. What is still pushing you to continue your journey?
You know, I want to say before my son, it had a lot to do with I still have not achieved like the biggest thing, which is Olympic
Yeah.
medal. You that's what I want. I want an Olympic medal. And so that's what I was gunning for. But honestly, truly, now after me having my son, after, you know, the whole thing with Adidas and the sponsorship and everything like that, I feel like it's bigger than
Mm,
me. Um, it's bigger than those goals that I had before. It has to do with mothers. It
yes.
has to do with women. It has to do with just me coming out here and showing like, hey, there's value in us. You know, there's so much value in us in a sponsorship partnership case that does not determine my value.
Yes.
And it's like
Yeah.
I'm you can't just throw me away. You
Yeah.
know? And even if you do try and throw me away, I'm not going nowhere.
Nah.
And so
Nah.
that's the reason now why I'm doing it. You know,
Wow.
I don't want mothers and women to feel like they have to stop just because someone stopped believing in them. You know, that's not the case.
That's
Yeah.
powerful. That's powerful. And a lot of athletes need to hear
Mm-hmm.
this. And the people that are making these decisions need to hear this
Yeah.
because this can't keep happening because again now you're forcing them out of the sport are having to sacrifice or wait until the end of their careers which could be when they're in their 40s whatever it may be
Yeah.
and then it's like okay now I want to start this
Right.
journey which you know men don't have to sacrifice that I'm just gonna be real so ooh okay let's go on to the next question because we can talk about
Right.
this all day. Oh, so so where do you envision the future of women track and field going, and where do you see your role? You kind of already talked about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it now is bigger than you. It's
Yeah.
about, of course, getting that Olympic medal, right? But it's
Yeah.
also about just being an advocate for mothers in sports, mothers in track and field. But what else do you envision for the future?
Yeah. So for the sport itself, I really just want the sport to just have way more attention than it has. You know, track and field, I mean, it's a dominant sport. When you see the Olympics, that's the
That's why we
biggest
watch
event.
it.
You know,
Yeah,
it's the biggest.
yeah,
People are interested. People love this. You know, they love the sport.
yeah.
But I don't think that there's enough. There's not enough attention. There's not enough broadcasting of
But
it.
why do you think that is? Because I don't understand
Yeah,
it.
you know, I truly believe, and I hate to say it, I truly believe it all goes down to the whole Balco drug incident that happened back in the day. All the
Yeah,
sponsorships that pulled out of it and everything, it kind of tainted our sport. And, you know, our sport kind of went downhill while other sports, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I really think it's the drug thing. But it does look like it's getting better. Like within the past, I want to say two 2 years, I think that there has been more attention, more attention.
Yeah,
I think people like Sha'Carri is great for the
yeah,
sport.
100%,
And so
100%. Yeah. So I know another big issue in track and field, and I hear this a lot, is just payment, like it
yeah.
not being enough to really sustain you, so that you're able to kind of do it full time, or you're doing it full time, but it's still like you might have to have a job on the side or something like that. Do you feel that well first of all I know you feel that that needs to change
Yeah.
but again is so from what you said about the incidents that have happened in the past with track and field where sponsors are pulling out do
Mhm.
you think that's also a big reason why like most track and field athletes aren't getting these checks that can sustain them you know long term
Yeah, I do feel like that. If there's no sponsors, there's no money.
right
And
Right.
I think that I just think I really feel like we need like a some type of a unit or something
Like,
to come together,
yeah.
to really fight for what we need in this sport. I will say if you're performing well, and if you're ranked high, you're getting paid and you're
Right.
fine. You won't need to have a job or anything like that. But they still, even still, they call this sport the poor man's sport because
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
even though we may be getting paid, we're not getting paid like football players. We're not
Exactly.
getting paid like basketball players, anything like that. But it's still good money.
Right.
But when you aren't ranked well, or if you don't have a contract, you didn't start off with a contract, that's when you're struggling.
Mm.
That's another way you get pushed out of the sport, or that's how you aren't making any money and you do have to work another job. You work another job, track and field is full time. You don't have
I'm
you
about to
really
say it's
have
full
time to
time.
work another job.
Yeah. Wow.
They have to do it.
So yeah, so if you don't have that contract, then you're pretty much self-funding everything,
Absolutely,
meaning going to the meets, flying to the meets, practices, coaches, trainers, food. Man,
absolutely,
wow.
absolutely. Without that contract, or I'll say without like a partnership or something like that. Because there's money out here. I tell people that all the time. There's money out here.
Yeah,
You have to advocate for yourself. You have to go out there.
build that
You have to pick
brand.
these.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know?
yeah, yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Look. Let's get on a lighter note because
Yeah.
we can talk about because man I am my name is Track Baby, right? So so like I have always been like a really big advocate for track and field because I'm like y'all, like, no offense to everybody else in the Olympics, but most people tune in for track and field.
Yeah.
And I feel like track and field athletes are some of the most resilient athletes because y'all work 4 years just for that one, two, three, or four races, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just like it disappears. The hype, the commercials, the sponsorships, everything else. And I'm like, why is that? Because it's like to me, track and field athletes are some of people's first superheroes, if I'm
Yeah.
being real.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I'm very passionate about this, but we gonna keep it moving. So we're gonna do a lighter go on a lighter note, right?
Yeah.
And talk about some fun
Okay.
things. So what is the most what brings you the most joy when it comes to motherhood?
Oh my gosh. It's everything. It's everything. It's him, my son. It's just seeing him happy,
Yes.
seeing him laughing, seeing him playing, him forming words or trying to walk. It's just, him eating. Like it's
Oh
literally,
my gosh.
it's
Like every moment, I can only
it really
imagine.
is. It really is everything. He's sleeping and I'm just looking at him like, oh God, just thank you so much. Like it's just the most amazing feeling. It's the biggest blessing. It really is.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So, Christina, what would you say to a little girl who's looking up to you
Mhm.
and she's like, man, I want to be just like her? What advice would you give her?
I would really I'm all about being true to yourself. Just be true to you. Be true to who you are. You know, always be you and go hard for everything that you want.
Yes,
You know, it's simple, but it's truly how I am and it's truly how I live. And I feel like that will take you such a long way.
I love that. I love that. That's amazing advice.
Mhm.
So I know you have a lot coming up, but what are some things that you can just kind of like let us know about that we can kind of tune in and watch and prepare for because we want to follow your journey because you
Yeah.
have an amazing story and I want to see you go to the highest of heights, right?
Yeah.
So what do you have coming up that we can tune
Yes.
into?
So USA's is actually that's pretty, that'll be February 16th, 17th, I believe it's that weekend,
Okay.
in New Mexico. So,
Okay.
because that's making the team for Glasgow indoor. And I'm definitely going for that.
I love it. I love it. Well, we will be tuning in. I can't wait to see where you go. And again, please, please, please keep using your
Of
voice,
course.
because more women that are in this sport, that are in sports, period, that are going through these different, challenges and things that you've gone through, being a new mother, y'all voices are so powerful right now.
Yeah.
This is a time to be alive as a woman, to be
Absolutely.
quite honest, because everybody's tuning in. Women's sports is skyrocketing right now, and people need to know what's really
Yeah.
happening so that change can be made.
You know what? You know what's crazy? I was debating back and forth if I was going to make a public statement about everything,
Mm,
but I feel like I'm definitely going to
yes,
pretty soon.
please,
So
please.
yeah, I thank you for this.
Yeah, no, because you definitely deserve more than, what happened to you. And you imagine how many other women. I mean, I heard you, I've heard Allison Felix, but I know there's so many more moms that are going through the same struggle. And it's unfair and it needs to change,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
you're killing one dream. And that, again, why, like, it's not fair.
Yeah.
So look, well, if you post, I'm gonna repost it. Just know
Okay.
that. So I got you.
Okay.
But thank you so much again. Good luck with everything you have coming up. We'll be tuning in, and I can't wait to get you on here after the Olympics so you can talk about your gold medal.
Yes.
All
Thank you. Thank you.
right. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.